Good morning, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101, and today we will be doing a stock review on Urban One. Urban One, if you guys never really heard about Urban One, they have a lot of networks that really tailor to the Black community. Urban One is a public listed company that you can actually invest in, and quite frankly, I want you to invest into the one that's more profitable for you because they have two listed stocks on the stock market, okay? There's one that you have voting rights, and then there's one you don't have voting rights. Excuse me for 1 second. Just trying to still set up here. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So let's get into this stock review very quickly. Now, the thing about Urban One, they also do TV One, News One, and also I1 Digital. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that content, but again, they tailor to the Black community to give you Black media sources and news. Now, you can go on there for all your news. I know a lot of us, I know for me, for a very, very long time, I looked at a lot of different media outsources to get different rooters and rhetoric and different perspectives from different people, whether it be CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, C-SPAN, and also Fox News. I like to encompass a lot of those news to get those different perspectives and different information and what each media news group is actually producing and certain content on their particular channel. But nonetheless, Urban One tailors to the Black community, okay? This company was started back in 1980. I believe her name is Captain Haynes. But anything was started by a Black female nonetheless. So let's get into this particular stock review. So Urban One right now, over the course of 5 years, they've been up 55 and a third percent. That's 55 and a third percent. And the last year, they've been up 100.34%. So they've been doing primarily well. Now you see that there's large spikes and divots, and I'm gonna give you the analysis based upon why I know that stock went up and went down and occurred. That particular spike happened in June nonetheless. Now, 1 month, they've been down 17%. 1 week, they've been up 5.67%. In the past day, they've been 0.97%. Now, granted, if you notice, now, this gives you a little bit of information. Stocks move up, stock moves down, and stocks move sideways. And as you can tell, the trajectory of this stock has been pretty much sideways. And what that means is that it's been no huge fluctuations, whether it be an increase or a decrease in stock percentages or stock revenue. So we notice right here in June, they spiked up on June 19, 2020 to $36 a share. $36 a share. Why did that happen? I'm going to get into that, okay? Now, this is basically what happened that brought that stock that much profit in 1 day, essentially, okay? Now, it's a simple question. It's because a major investor, and I'm just going to read it verbatim here. Why is Urban One stock rising 2,000% off of no news? This wasn't even televised or publicized. It all started with hedge fund Bridge Capital Management sold off its entire 3.9 million share stake in Urban One on the 11th of June. Okay, Urban One disclosed the sell-off, triggering a buy spree on Tuesday trading June 17th. Okay, so June 17th. Okay, now here you see June 19th. That's when it really sparked and peaked. And from that moment on, it's been dropping. Okay, so if a lot of people invested prior to the spike at $1.84, man, they made $34 on their investment. Okay, so for every $2 you invested, you made $35 off their investment. Now, granted, I don't know what news essentially occurred, but people started to do what they call the old pump and dump, okay? They pumped the stock, where everybody was buying because they have enough volume for enough investors to get in and actually buy. When they sold off that investment, okay, people start to dump the stock, which drove the stock price down. Now, I know where you're asking, is this still a good stock to invest in? Nonetheless, let's read a little bit more about it to see where you may be at the end of the stock review. Okay, now, Urban One Class A common stock, also called Urban One, is a multimedia company which engages in the radio broadcasting operation that targets African American and urban listeners. Okay, urban in this sense, they already detailed, African Americans. Urban listeners are people who are living in the cities. Okay, living in the city. So whether you're black, white, Asian, Chinese, doesn't matter. But the content is directed at African Americans and people living in cities. It operates through the following segments: radio broadcasting, reach media, digital, and cable television. The radio broadcasting segment includes all the broadcasting related operations. The reach media segment consists of the Tom Jonah Morning Show, which he is now done. Because if you notice, if you can tell what's going on in black media, we understand that Roland Martin was on News One. He got off of News One, I want to say, was it almost 2 years ago? They stopped his segment, and now they stopped Tom Joyner's segment as well. So a lot of times when you're selling off big names like those two, it tells me that you're not doing as well as we will want you to do. Now, a lot of this has to do of we not supporting our own. I'll leave it like that. I'll keep my rhetoric to myself. The digital segment focuses on its online businesses, including the operations of Interactive One. The cable television segment deals with TV One's operation. The company was founded by Catherine L. Hughes in 1980 and headquartered in Silver Spring, Maryland. That's kind of the area where I'm from, the DMV, the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia, okay? So they roughly have around 1,500 employees. Now, the CEO is her son, who is Alfred C. Liggins. That is her son. Their movement average of 1.5 million, 150 million, okay? Here are your collections: consumer service and retail in the state of Maryland, media and software. Now, here are their earnings. Now, Q1 is that big spike that we saw on June 19th. Q2, you're seeing that it dropped all the way down, but nonetheless, they are still a company that is slightly operating out of that. And once we go to Market Watch, you guys will actually see that as well, okay? So people who also bought. Now, Urban One, this is another Urban One, still the same company, but this is a Class D stock. Again, we go back here. This one is a Class A common stock, which for every stock you buy, you have a vote to vote how the company is going to head, okay? That's essentially when someone who is a investor mogul, investor genius, investor giant like Warren Buffett, he go in and buy millions and millions of shares of a particular company. Now, he sometimes could own a third, but he has a seat, or his company, Berkshire Hathaway, has a seat on the board of directors, and they have a certain amount of votes where certain things, innovation, processes, or new products are introduced, and they can actually vote like, no, we don't like that, use that one, or I don't like that innovation, use this process, etc. So this is the Urban One Class D stock. You have no vote. Okay, so if you are just caring about your investment and profit returns, then this is kind of where it is. But if you want to buy so many shares and stocks that you want to actually have a vote of where the company should go, then you might want to look into the Class A stock, okay? Nonetheless, let's move on. I already showed this particular one. Let's go over to Market Watch. I'm going to show you the 52-week range. I think that's very important because either you made a lot of money, or if you invest in this company or knew about this company, you lost a lot of money, okay? You lost a lot. Let me get this out the way. So here we go. So the 52-week range was from less than $1 all the way up to $54.16 in a matter of a year. Now, granted, I want you guys to look back here in June of why you think this particular stock went up like that. Let me go to a year right here in June. What occurred? If you notice right here around March, that's your COVID-19. That is why the stock went down. Now, simultaneously, during this time frame, there was a Black Lives Matter movement, okay? Has nothing to do with the organization. It was a movement across the nation where organizations and personal and investor capital management companies were taking a bid into Black-owned businesses, which generated a lot of profit for Black-owned businesses, even like Urban One. Okay, once that kind of high, once that euphoria rushed through their system, again, they sold 3.9 million of this share, thus driving the stock back down to its previous glory. Now, granted, back here was $1, it was less than $1, But now we see that today, so what, $3? Is it around $3? No, I'm sorry. This is the wrong stock. Give me 1 second. That was the wrong stock. Here we go. So around here was around $2. Yeah, around $2, $1.60. Then it drove itself all the way up to $36 and then back down to about $3.93. So people who invested at the $2 and $3 mark, you're kind of like breaking even when it comes to taxes involving that. But right now, today, we're looking at $3.95 of this particular company. Now, we looked into Market Watch. We see the 52-week range. This is a company that's slightly operating out of debt, which absolutely means nothing because they still have a lot of profitability because year to date, they're at 95.46%. Okay, year to date. So they're doing actually well considering. Okay, now a lot of companies are operating out of debt. That really doesn't mean anything. Now, if this number was around $10, then there's something to be looked at even more so. Okay, let me break down the difference of different classes of shares, okay? Because you have Class A, Class C, Class B, Class C, Class D. Now, as you can tell here, ladies and gentlemen, let me blow this up in case you're on your cell phones. Class A, these shares trade on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol. Now, they're just using Google as an example, but anyone who holds these shares have 1 vote per share, okay? Then you have Class C stocks trade on the NASDAQ under the ticker symbol, and then Class C shares have no voting rights, okay? No voting rights. So if it says Class C, no voting rights, Class D, no voting rights, but Class B, you have what they call super voting rights. These shares don't trade on the secondary market. Instead, they are owned by insiders, okay, those insider investors and early investors who get 10 votes per share, making them super voting shares. Now, and again, I want to break this down for Class D. Class D are no load shares of multiple funds that often sells loads. Investor choosing this option gain access to the fund without having to pay the initial fee or fees when they sell. It has to do a lot with taxes. Additionally, Class D shares often have lower expense ratios than A and C twins, as well as the 12B1 files, okay? So that's what we need to understand about that, okay? Let's move along. Again, Urban One is representing Black America, is the largest distributor of urban content in the country for more than 35 years. Urban One has been leading voice to speaking to Black Americans. Again, the founder is Cathy Hughes, her son, Alfred C. Liggins. If you guys want to know more about them, here we go. This is Catherine Hughes. I don't know if you ever seen her before, okay? She's an American entrepreneur, radio and television personality, and business executive. Hughes founded the media company Radio One, and when the company went public in 1999, she became the first African-American woman to head a publicly traded corporation, okay? She's 73 years of age. As you can tell here, a little bit more information about Cathy Hughes, okay? Here's her net worth. This is a little bit more information about Cathy Hughes. She is worth $460 million. She's the second wealthiest African-American woman in the nation, of course, behind Oprah Winfrey, has made a resounding impact on Black media, having pioneered Radio One, a BE 100 company and one of the most successful and lucrative Black-owned media companies to date. She's a beast. She's a mogul, okay? So here are some of the companies that Urban One actually owns. Here's their divisions. You got TV One, Interactive One, and News One, okay? Now, Alfred C. Liggins is her son, who is the CEO. If you want to know more about that brother, there he is, okay? You can do your own research regarding Alfred C. Liggins. Now, get into their content. Here's their I1 digital site. I'm not going to go through all of the segments. I'm just going to show you some of the things that they represent. This is their website. These are the things that they're showing, okay? A lot of media things. They have different brands up here. Just trying to make you familiar with this in case you have never seen this before. This is for you guys who are probably tired of CNN. You're tired of MSNBC. You're tired of Fox News. Here's other places you can go and get your media and get your sources, and could be a good investment for your pockets. Now, here, News One. This is the station, and they had a live news show that was on television around the DC area, as well as syndicated throughout some cities, as well as a channel on YouTube. Okay. Now, here's their actual website for News One. They're still doing stories. Now, the top story that we all know is out is that Breonna Taylor's killer got away with murder because no directly got charged with the murder. They said something indiscretionally about some white neighbors who one of the cops got charged with, I forgot what they called it, but basically the stray bullets that actually hit that particular home. Okay, that particular home, even though there was other residents that were living in that building that were black. They had nothing to do with that. But anyway, here's some of the news stories that these guys are actually covering. You can go ahead and get your news that is kind of pertaining to the black community, but they do cover nationwide news. So this may be a good resource for you guys to not even invest inside the company, because I think as they're changed their brand, as they're innovating, they've been around for a long time. And with Alfred C. Liggins leaving the drive now, he may change the company a different direction. That may boost the stock. Okay, that may be boosted the stock. And again, they have all types of stories that they're covering. Cops kill black men in Ahmaud Arbery's hometown. They're talking about Trump supporter who killed Black Lives Matter protester, kills himself. He committed suicide. Florida bill encourages drivers to hit protesters. So they're covering a wide range of news. But as you can tell, they're definitely leaning inside the political realm concerning if you're a Democrat or a Republican. They're definitely doing a lot of political news because we know that news is driven by political parties. But nonetheless, they have regular news like the NBA playoffs. They have track and field news. They have what Chris Rock said about the Democratic Party. He says mentally handicapped whites can't grasp racism. Chris Rock offered a metaphor about mentally handicapped white people being predisposed to not fully grasping black folks' plight. Okay, so they had information regarding all of that. Also, our brother Chadwick Boseman, his moving Uology, and then Kanye thanks Candace Owens for Democrat Plantation book. So again, they are pandering to both sides of the pendulum, so it doesn't matter. They have content for you. Okay. Here's another site. This is their One TV One. So this is another sort of news, trending news. They also have Living Single. They have news shows. Again, this is about everything that's going on their TV channel, because we understand they are a TV channel as well. So information is there. And they're tailoring to people who live in the cities and also the African American community. So you don't have to go to these other major networks that cater to certain other audiences. You have a network that caters to you as well, regardless of their political affiliation. Okay, so that is their TV One station. And then here is their main website, Urban One, representing the black culture. Okay, Urban One statement regarding the life and legacy of Helen Elizabeth Wood. They have a story on her, then all of their other brands under their Urban One brand. And then this was interesting right here. Okay, this is interesting when I read this in the media. And if you guys listened to my live cast yesterday about reading books and certain books that you should read and that we don't read enough as a community. Now, this is what Urban One is saying. 91% of blacks believe advertising on black media is more relevant. I believe that. Blacks spend almost 30%. Listen to this. Blacks spend almost 30% more time watching videos on the internet than the general population. What is that telling you? What is that telling you? I'm going to read it again. Blacks spend almost 30% more time watching videos on the internet than the general population. What that's telling you, we're not doing enough reading. We're not doing enough research. I'm going to leave it there. Blacks watch TV 42% more than the general population. More than the general population. So we're not reading, we're not researching, but we are watching videos and TV more than anyone. If you add these two together, that's 72%. I mean, I know some of this 30% are the same 30% that's inside this 42% that's watching a lot of TV and videos. Then it says 70% of blacks continue to connect to urban radio. Okay. So I just want to make you guys aware of that statistic, because I don't know if they're just giving statistics, in a neutral manner, like, hey, this is what it is, or they are trying to do some sort of subconscious subliminal messaging to say, hey, you need to get out and read. I don't actually, absolutely know. But I don't want to lean one way or another and lead your perspective dealing with this particular content. But it tells me again, that as a community of black people, we do not read enough. That is what that's telling me. Okay. That is what that's telling me. Take it however you want to, but that is what that is telling me. All right. Good Nolan Baptiste. Thank you, good sir, for moderating today. Good morning, penny stock investor. Anyone that's else in the chat, if you would, please give this video a thumbs up. Also like and share this video, whatever platform you're on. This is Financial Literacy 101. I'll be back on the next 30 minutes to an hour to give you some of the best credit cards. I believe that if you're going to get a credit card, or if you had credit cards, how to properly use your credit cards. Not only, but credit cards, I believe there will be a good fit for you in raising your credit score, 1, 2, rewards, and 3, some of the high damn fees these credit cards have. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. I'll see you guys in about an hour or so. You guys have a great and wonderful morning. I'm out.